fourth grade. We are on page 40 and we are doing a golden vase and two bright monkeys. Adapted from a Tibetan folktale. What's a folktale? So it's got the word folk and tale in it. Another word for a tale is a story. And then folk, like your parents. So it's a story passed down from your parents or from generation to generation. A folktale. Okay, let's do our words to know. First we have genuine. What does genuine mean? She gave him a genuine smile. Genuine. The child was genuine in his apology. He was real. Genuine means real. Legit. Legitimate. Okay. Then we've got recent. Hopefully you know what recent means. My recent grades show that I'm not doing my iReady lessons. Recent. What does recent mean? My most recent, they just happened. What's this hair? Okay. Pardon. Pardon can mean a couple of different things. So instead of saying excuse me, you can say pardon me. It means like watch out, but in a nice way. Or pardon can mean that you're excused for doing something wrong. So you could burp. Not that burping's wrong, but you could, we'll just stick with burp. You could burp and then you could say, oh, pardon me. You know, it's kind of like saying I'm sorry. Pardon. All right. So, context clues is how you figure out how they mean it. So I'm not going to read this whole story, but it's about two friends, Dorji and Sanam. They're hiking and they're digging for medicine, a root that gives medicine, and instead they find a gold vase, and they're all excited, but then Dorji is like, well, we better make sure it's really gold. I'll go check, and then if it is, I'll split the money with you. He does it because he's a jerk. Okay, so Sanam's like, okay, totally, friend of mine that I trust. Not smart. Oh. Okay. So Dorji goes and checks, and the guy's like, yeah, this is like totally gold. And then he brings it back to Sanam, or he doesn't bring it back to Sanam, and Sanam's like, why are you so sad? And he's like, oh, that vase, it was not gold. So he lied to his friend. It was not gold, and I put it by the fire, and it melted into pewter, which we'll discuss later what that is. And then he's like, Sanam's like, not really sure if he should believe him, but he's like playing it off, and he's like, oh, that's okay, no worries. Why don't you let me take your kids on vacation to my house, as a thank you for trying to find out if it was gold. Suspicious. And Dorji lets his kids go on vacation, and Sanam buys his kids monkeys. And he says, here, take these monkeys everywhere with you, and they will be your twins. And the monkeys started acting like the kids and imitating them and copying them and doing what they do. And the monkeys learned how to act like the children. And so at the end of the vacation, this is kind of a long story, isn't it? At the end of the vacation, Dorji came back to pick up his kids, and Sanam had sent them away to go pick berries in the mountain. And Dorji walked up to Sanam, and Sanam had these two monkeys, and he was looking all sad, and he's like, Sanam, why are you sad? And he's like, oh, I took your kids too close to the monkeys, and they transformed into monkeys. And the monkeys started acting like the kids, because that's what they've been doing, and they're walking like them and making the same smiles and movement. And he was like, oh my gosh, Dorji was like, how could this happen? Is this even possible? This is some craziness. And Sonam's like, I mean, strange things happen. I know about a gold vase that turned into nothing, that melted. And that was when Dorji knew he was tricking him. Because he kind of let him know by making that joke. And he was like, oh my gosh. Dorji was like, I'm a bad friend. I shouldn't have tricked you about the gold. I'll give you what I owe you. And I'm so sorry. And he forgave him, and they were friends forever. And Dorji would always tell the story, and he would say, a true friend is a treasure greater than gold. Because Sonam was a true friend. He didn't just like let his friend be a jerk, or he didn't just write him off and say, you know what, you're lying to me and I'm not going to be your friend anymore. He found a way to teach his friend to be a better person. That's a true friend. Because we all got ugliness inside us, right? Oh, I'm getting sentimental. We all got ugliness, and it's a true friend that helps us learn to be better people. Okay, so that's the story. Number 1. Follow along. In Greek mythology, King Midas was granted the power to turn any object into gold simply by touching it. Okay, so we read about King Midas, and remember he was like, I want everything I touch to turn to gold, and then, oops, that was bad, because then, like, he touched his daughter, and she turned to gold, and it was sad. So you remember that story. So, yeah, okay. Why did the author use the phrase, the touch of Midas, in paragraph 2? So where do we need to go to answer this question? Paragraph 2. Here we go. Up, up, up. Oh, look, they label them for us. That's so nice. If they're not labeled, like in your tests or something, it's always a good idea to label them so you can keep track. For citing. Okay, so number 2. Surely this is pure gold, Sonam exclaimed. He brushed off the dirt. He held up the rare treasure, which shimmered in the bright sunlight. We must have the touch of Midas. So, in the story of Midas, everything he touches turns to gold. What did they find? Gold. So, let's look for an answer that has to do with that. All right. Why did they use the touch of Midas? Okay, to show that Dorji and Sonam have